Following program are those of the speakers and the host, and do not necessarily reflect those of Yoakley Scott Corporation and your sports network.
Yeah, I've been closer to Jesus before, so can you help me out? Oh, can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Can you help me out? I've been scared to look in my soul. I've been afraid I would follow the road. Yeah, afraid of the things I've been told.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Running Point on YSNLive.com. It is a Friday afternoon. I'm Anthony Hartwig, and alongside me, Ty Bartell, as always. He is. Whoa. We got to switch this. I'm Ty Bartell. That's Anthony Hartwig, and this is Running
That's
Point.
not
Hey,
correct.
you want to take the intro?
That's not quite right here, and I don't know what we need to do to fix this. Hold on, let me.
I got you.
All right,
Now I'm Anthony. Wait. Now what'd you do? There we go.
there.
We're all-
I think I
we're
tried to
all-
fix it at the same time. Now
we're all
we're on track.
Ty's trying to take my spot. It's all right.
Now, should be a good day that we have so many baseball and softball coaches that are going to be featured today. A lot of baseball, a little bit of softball today, but I mean,
and it's a pretty good softball team, if I do say so
Yeah.
myself. So here's what we have lined up for you today. Live on the show, we will have Christina Dugan, the head coach of the Ysn softball team, taking over for her first year, replacing the wonderful Coach Kernan that has gone on to do better things. And then we will also have Wellsville head coach for baseball at 1 o'clock. And then pre-recorded for you, we got Ryan Wolf from Columbiana that's going to be featured on the show. We have Michael Graneri, the head coach over at Niles, going to be featured on the show. And we also have Chad Rankin, the head coach of the Newton Falls Tigers, to be featured on the show as well. So all three of those pre-recorded interviews are also live on the site at ysnlive.com. So if you missed them or you want to see them in their entirety or whatever it may be, you can head over to ysnlive.com, take a look at them, or head over to our YouTube page and see those interviews cut in their entirety on those two places.
Yeah, I mean, today's a great day for it because we're venturing into three different conferences too for baseball. We're in the EOAC, we're in the MVAC, and then we're in the NE8 as well. So, I mean, you really get a good range of where the baseball talent is, and across several different divisions too, and it's across three different conferences that are really known for pitching too.
Yeah,
And it was three great conversations we've had with the pre-recorded ones too.
Three really good conferences. I mean, you got Niles in the NE8 that everyone knows has multiple teams that are going to be very competitive. You got Newton Falls that's in the MVAC gray tier, so they're going to have to deal with the likes of Garfield, Crestview, Liberty, Champion, et cetera, et cetera. And then you have Wellsville, who's going to be live on the show in the NE8.
Yeah.
I mean, not in the EOAC.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Columbiana too was also
pre-recorded
pre-recorded too, and Columbiana's been kind of one that's been running that EOAC for a little bit too. They were undefeated last year in the conference. They won the conference last year. They're bringing a lot back this year too, and you'll see that in the conversation with Coach Wolf too. A lot of exciting interviews too with some great coaches. And I think all the teams we talk to really have a chance to make a pretty solid run at their conferences.
I think Columbiana is like kind of some of the other softball teams we've talked about already, but Columbiana on the baseball side kind of goes under the radar every year because they're very, really good, but they're not talked about as much as some of the other teams in the area because when you have someone like, what Canfield's putting together or some of the bigger Division II schools are doing, some of these smaller Division IV schools kind of get lost in the shuffle, but Columbiana puts a solid baseball team on the field night in, night out. They have a wonderful facility. And they do a great job in Columbiana. Coach Ryan Wolf's been doing it for a while, and he's coming back for another year at Columbiana baseball, and they should have a fun time.
They do a great job with youth programs too, and keeping that interest vested throughout the middle school up to the varsity and the high school ranks. Yeah,
Can I
and
get louder as it goes?
yep. And I mean, as you see it too, I mean, it's the youth that just ends up feeding into the varsity program. It's
I had to build it up. I had to build it up like a crescendo. Yeah,
they do a
words.
great job. They do a great job over there, and Coach Wolf is a huge driving force behind that as well. So, looking overall at what Columbiana's been able to do, they should be in the thick of that EOAC again this year. But we'll get a chance to talk with Justin Guerin over there at Wellsville, because I'm sure the Tigers will have something to say about it going into this seast.
Full disclosure, I have no idea if I used the word crescendo properly.
At least you're being honest with it.
I know it's a music term. I know it has, but I don't know if that's what I thought it was.
Full disclosure.
I think it's the build up, like you go from soft to real hard, but I don't know.
Hey, I mean,
it could be a crescendo. It might not be. If you're a band person, let me know. I was in middle school band. I dropped out in high school. So
you never learned about the crescendos, did you?
We did, but it was all the way like what that would have been. Let's see, I graduated 11 years ago, so middle school would have been like 15 years ago.
Yeah, a good like 15 to like a baker's dozen.
And let me tell you, as soon as I was done with middle school band, it was pretty much like dropping the trumpet and being like, I'm done. I worked hard in middle school. I wasn't about to do that in high school, and I was like, yeah. I worked hard in band. I was like, I was glad. I was third chair trumpet in middle school band. I wasn't first chair. There were some people that were just better than me, and I accepted that. I wasn't gonna be better than them, but third chair, not that bad.
No, not bad at all. But I was really waiting for you to leave it at that, because I was definitely coming at you with some jokes then. I stopped working hard in high school. I
didn't really work that hard in high school. We've already touched upon that subject. We've already touched upon that subject. I had like a 2.6 GPA in high school. I did not work that hard.
It's like I put my my trumpet down in middle school, and I never looked back at hard work again. I took that there and set it down, and I never worked hard from another day.
Never worked hard in my life, ever.
Ever since that point. Oh man, I tell you who is working hard. A lot of these coaches in the area too. And one thing I want to compliment too, when we were mentioning Columbiana, what they do a really good job of too, their website, and they keep up to date with the stats, the schedule, the roster. And it's like, for smaller D4 schools like that, that's what you really love to see. The dedication to the history, the tradition of the program. It gives kids something to buy into and something they really want to play for outside of just wins and losses. So when you see stuff like that, and you see that the coaches and the assistants and administration are going that extra mile to say, here's the stats of our former teams, and here's the schedules, the teams they've played, and like just really caring about the history too. It kind of makes kids a little bit more proud to wear those that logo on the front of their jersey and really represent their school.
And I believe that is all the hard work from Ryan Wolf running that website himself.
And I mean, that was the case, I thought too, but I didn't want to go out and make any wild assumptions, but I thought that was the case too. And I mean, that just goes to show the extra work that he puts in too. I mean, he's not getting a signing bonus of 6 figures to
run this website too, so here's some extra. No.
So he's doing that out of his own time, because he knows what's important out of this too. And that's kind of creating a legacy and memories for these kids to kind of look back on too. And I think that's really cool.
That's why he's one of the best.
No doubt. And that's why Columbiana has the success that they do year in and year out. And it's going to be fun watching Clipper baseball too in this EOAC.
Ty, yesterday, like a lot of sports fans in the workplace, we kind of took a day to just soak in the March Madness. I think a lot of people were either watching it in their office cubicle, or they watch it if they're teaching. I know a lot of teachers are just putting up on the projector anyway instead of teaching that day. And we could not help but get caught up in the madness. We had the Ysn hangout yesterday, and if you didn't know, we had the March Madness poll that you can be a part of. Well, I guess you can't anymore because it's already tipped off, but you could have been a part of if you would have signed up. Let's look. I want to look at the standings here. So far, leading the way. Oh, I can't zoom in. Hold on. That's tiny. After 1 day, which is pretty early because there's a lot of basketball to be played. But after 1 day, it is Floppy the Snowman. And he is in a 4-way tie with. Actually, no, that I'm in the wrong poll. Sorry. I was like, what are these people that look like?
Floppy the Snowman.
Floppy the Snowman is.
I was like, who the hell threw their name on there like that? Like, who's actually throwing their name on there as Flippy
Hold
Floppy
on.
the
We'll
Snowman?
redo this. That is totally my bad. Totally a Friday mistake. I don't know who Floppy the Snowman is, but that is not us. Oh man!
Flippy Floppy the Snowman.
Welcome to Friday.
Felt like that's what Kentucky had on their team last night. Jeez, oh man, they had a couple Flippy Floppy the Snowman on their team.
There are two people at the top of the poll right now on the Ysn poll. Dr. DQ, and we have no idea who runs it because it's ESPN fan 635413271. Whoever you are out there, Dr. DQ, you have a lead and you share it with Penguins 47-1, and the username is also Penguins 47-1. So I guess those two usernames will stay anonymous until they either win or lose. But
congratulations. Congratulations. I had Kentucky. Everything's ruined.
As far as me, I am 20 points behind. I am 110, and the leaders are at 130. So there's still a lot of basketball, obviously. No one's bracket is completely busted yet, I don't think, unless someone had Kentucky winning the whole thing. Did you have Kentucky winning the whole thing?
No. Okay. I had Duke, remember?
Yeah, okay.
So, I had Duke doing the comeback, and they were beating Arizona, I believe. I think I had Duke and Arizona
in these polls. Even if you lose a Final Four team, I mean, you're not done. It hurts, but it's not like your bracket's busted. I mean, everyone overreacts. Oh my God, my bracket's. You can make up a lot of ground in these things. 20 points, everyone's kind of at 110, 100, 130, 120. So, yeah, Dr. DQ and Penguins 471, you have a lead right now, but it's early and there's a lot of basketball to be played today. We'll see what we're at after the weekend on Monday. Maybe someone will have more bragging rights after the full weekend when we know our Sweet 16 teams.
Yeah, and I mean that's going to be fun too. I want to just give compliments too. I know they're technically our rivals too, and not a Ysn affiliate, but congratulations to the Akron basketball program, because I mean watching that game too. If you want anything to be proud of about Northeast Ohio basketball, like Akron going up against the monster that is UCLA and coming that close from taking down the beast, that would have been awesome too. I was rooting for them the whole way through. Unfortunate, they couldn't pull it off at the last seconds there.
They tried to pull a St. Peter's.
That might have been the biggest if Akron won as well. That might have been the biggest day, I feel like, in upsets for the tournament. The single day, because then you would have Iowa, Kentucky.
That'd be a bold statement, because I think there's been some pretty big days.
There's been some big days.
Like I take out the 5-12s. I almost don't even consider them upsets anymore.
Well, then
I don't think there's been a year where it hasn't happened.
That would be 2 versus 15s that would have upset then. In one,
I don't think the other 2 seed lost. I don't think any other 2 seed lost.
Who yesterday.
I was 5-12.
What was Kentucky? Kentucky wasn't.
Kentucky was the 2 seed. They lost, but I don't
Kentucky
think
was
other 2 seeds.
I was saying too. Yeah, well, what I was saying too. Imagine if UCLA would have lost to Akron too.
Yeah, that would.
And then you would have had there would have been some pretty. Because then I mean, you had what, St. Vincent. You had Akron, and then you would have had. I guess if you don't want to count Iowa and that one was.
5 versus 12 is an upset, but it's almost like it doesn't even feel like an upset anymore.
That's
because
the
it
one where
every year.
See a lot of upsets, quote unquote, happen. Is that 5 versus 12? It's dangerous.
Every year, 12 beats a 5. So it's remarkable. It's not 6-11 doesn't happen as often.
And I don't know what it is, because I mean, but it just shows the competitive balance of basketball, and that it's all matchups. And when you're not playing series and you're playing one game, I mean, damn, anybody can win.
It's a 5 seed curse.
Feels like
Every
it. You want to stay away from it.
Every time someone gets the 5 seed, you can see in their reaction room, in their war room when they're watching the selection show.
Get a
And the 5
seed.
seed, the Iowa Hawkeyes.
Well, unless the 12 seeds Ohio State, then you're pretty much getting to the next round
They
because
haven't played yet. You can't throw shade yet, but I did see an article that Sister Jean is traveling with the team at 101 years old.
nobody cares, Anthony, that
Um,
Loyola Chicago's about to end Ohio State's run again.
not Loyola Chicago, Sister Jean.
It's just, no, not the players.
Sister Jean's she's got the prayer beads. It's over.
She's gonna pray a victory for Chicago.
I mean, you have God on the side. It's over.
God is well, God was only with them for a Final Four a couple of years ago, and he tapped out after the Final Four.
No, she had some. She's during that Final Four, that day, she had some impure thoughts or something, and God was like, "Well, I can't.
Well, I can't do that. Can't have you win." Now they.
It turned
so not only is it Sister Jean that needs to be credited for victory.
What happened?
It's her damn fault they lost in that Final Four.
When they got into the Final Four, Al, the angel, told her that championships have to be won on their own, and they couldn't help her.
Al, the angel, straight out of Angel, the sequel of Angels in the Outfield, 25 years later.
Yep, Angels on the court. That's not that original, but I guess
Angels on the sideline, and it's just a poster with Sister Jean with angel wings coming.
Yeah, that and Christopher Lloyd next to her.
Angels in the bleachers. It's Sister Jean and Christopher Lloyd on a poster. I love that Sister Jean was this person that was literally unknown until Loyola went to a Final Four, and now everybody knows her. And I love that she's a well-known person now.
Sister Jean.
That's crazy. Sport of basketball can make celebrities out of anybody. Too.
Ooh, Angels in the Paint. That's it. That's the one right there. Angels in the Paint. They've had Angels in the outfield, Angels in the end zone. Now it's Angels in the Paint. It's going to be a trilogy.
Stuffing a dunk attempt like the Kembe Mutombo. She's just like she's just stuffing someone.
But we can't see the Angels. So to us, it looks like the guy just goes up and loses the ball out of nowhere.
I was hoping for the reverse. Like, we can't see the Angels, but they're like lifting Sister Jean to have like a 4-foot vertical. So she's just coming in, just like taking people out.
They would make Sister Jean play. They just help the players. They didn't like make the kids play baseball in that movie.
I was hoping for
you see Loyola's point guard getting the shoulder massage you see Loyola's point guard getting the shoulder massage on the on the sideline, and Sister Jean goes up to the coach and she's like, "Hey, you need to start Michaels. Just trust me. You need to start."
She's calling him. It's like some freshman that has.
You see Sister Jean doing this? Let's go.
If Loyola Chicago started doing the angel wings for no reason, there's no reason for them to do an angel wing. But if they all just stood up and started doing that randomly, like it was just a feeling that took over the entire stadium. It's like, well, they're not the Angels. Neither are the team that they're playing. There's no Angels on the court.
Yes, there are.
At least when they were playing the other movie, they were the Anaheim Angels. So, like, it made sense. It's like, yeah, we're the Huskies.
They weren't the Anaheim Angels in that movie, Mr. Trivia. They were the California Angels still back then. Thank you very much. Boom roasted.
Yeah, I mean, either way, they're the Angels.
No.
Were they not playing in Anaheim?
They were the California Angels. That's
exactly.
Their name was
California.
Their name was the California Angels. That's why they had a CA on their hat.
They did have a CA. You're correct, but they still played in Anaheim. That is not correct.
That is not. That's like saying the New York Giants aren't New York Giants because they actually play in New Jersey.
You call the Youngstown Scrappers the Ohio Scrappers because they play in Ohio?
No, but they call themselves the Mahoning Valley Scrappers, so they're not the Youngstown Scrappers either.
People still call them the
Mahoning
Youngstown
Valley
Scrappers.
I have never heard anyone call them the Youngstown Scrappers.
You've never heard one person call them the
They
Youngstown
are the
Scrappers?
Mahoning Valley
I've heard.
Scrappers.
Obviously they're called the Mahoning Valley. I've heard people call them the
That is
Youngstown
their
Scrappers.
team license name.
I've also heard them called the Nile Scrappers too.
No one's to this day. No one calls them the Anaheim Angels because you know why? They're the Los Angeles Angels, LAA, of Anaheim.
Yeah,
But they're
they
still
were
not the
called
Anaheim
the
Angels.
Anaheim
Just
Angels.
because they play in Anaheim.
I can almost guarantee you I could probably find several broadcasts on ESPN where they were
They were
referred
the
to
Anaheim Angels for a
as
little
the
bit.
Anaheim
Like
Angels.
between California and Los Angeles, they called themselves the Anaheim Angels. I think they've changed their city name a lot in their franchise.
And I don't think they've moved once.
But they haven't moved. But they've just changed their city name for some reason. We'll have to look up the history of that. But they were the California Angels during the movie. Somewhere in between now and then, they were the Anaheim Angels, and now they're the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim.
They love changing it.
But they were the California Angels. It's what they were called. So you can't say they were the Anaheim.
They
Angels 'cause
can't
they
call
weren't.
themselves anything without Anaheim in it just because the Dodgers own LA. They're just like, we are LA Dodgers and we're not calling ourselves anything different. We moved from Brooklyn in the 50s and we're
own a
holding on
city.
to this name.
You can't own a city name.
He
The
owns it.
Dodgers can't say no one else can be the Los Angeles anything.
Dodgers own the rights on LA now that they got the ring.
I don't think they can do that because they're still Los Angeles Angels. They still have the LAA as their
Yeah, but they're the team no one cares about. They just have Mike Trout. Dodgers have
no one cares about them, but they also have the face of the league on their
they're
team.
they're the JV team. Dodgers are the varsity. Just like the Lakers are the freshman team.
Hey, who's
Sparks
the
are
JV
JV.
team and varsity team in New York? Are the Giants? I mean, they're both terrible. Are the
Say it.
Giants
I was
varsity?
saying, Lakers right now are the freshman team in basketball. The LA Sparks are the JV team, and the Clippers are the varsity team right now in the LA basketball.
Yeah, that means the Sparks are better than the Lakers. That's good.
Yeah, I mean, Sparks are JV right now.
Shout out to the WNBA.
I wouldn't mind seeing some. You see some of the Sparks get caught up to the Clippers for varsity. No, New York, you got to say Jets are like Pop Warner football. Like that's Pop Warner, and then the Giants might be like a freshman or a JV team, and
Junior
then
high. They're like the organized junior high team that you get into after Pop Warner.
oh my goodness,
Pop Warner's like your school club. Like, okay, you're technically playing for that school, but they're not affiliated really. Then you get in the 7th and 8th grade where you're an affiliated school team. That's the Giants.
I don't know if the Giants have a varsity team. I don't think that New York has a varsity football team. I think they're running Pop Warners.
Probably their arena football league.
Yeah, I was trying to think of the most obscure football team on there to call.
I don't think do they have a team in the USFL?
That's what I was hoping for. Either that or
I
like
don't think they
soccer
do.
league there, and I was about to be like, and that's the professional.
Well,
football.
New York has to have a soccer team.
That's a varsity football,
right? They're in the MLS.
Are they called the Liberty something in soccer, or is that
that's the WNBA? Is
WNBA is Liberty something?
New York Liberty. I have a New York Liberty jersey, so I should know that.
I don't remember all the names.
Wow, we are so off on the tangent.
I know. We got interviews coming up with basketball anyway that we have to get to.
Let's see. You know what? Let's just keep on this tangent for about 2 or 3 more minutes, and then we'll go take a break and get ready for Christina Dugan at 12:30.
Yeah.
So, point of the moral story is they were the California Angels, and they were not the Anaheim Angels, just because they played in Anaheim. There are a lot of teams that don't play in the city that they're actually named for.
I don't know if that was the point as much as it was they were the California Angels at one point. We already established they were the Anaheim.
You called them the Anaheim Angels. They weren't. They were playing in Anaheim. Did you know the Royals don't actually play in Kansas City, and neither do the Chiefs, but they're still Kansas City. If you want to be technical, you should call them the Raytown Royals and the Raytown Chiefs because they do not play in the city of Kansas City.
I mean, I'm sure locals might. You never know.
I've been to Kansas City several times. I have family down there, and I can confidently say that no one calls them the Raytown Royals or the Raytown Chiefs.
I don't know, Anthony.
I mean,
I need to see some surveys and some research that's done here and see to
All
make
right, here we
sure
go.
that there's not
Sir
The Ray-
King.
because you can't tell me the Raytown Royals does not sound like a good name. Like that.
And actually,
That's
it's alliteration. Alliteration always sounds good.
yeah. I mean,
Probably why
like
the Anaheim Angels actually sounds like the best out of all of them, but they didn't
Yeah.
keep that one.
they should keep the Raytown Royals. I'm all for actually like giving the place where it's hosted to.
So it
'Cause
would
then
be the Meadowlands Giants.
Let's talk about the fact that Arizona does not give a shit what city you play for. You're playing for Arizona. You're playing for the Diamondbacks.
Arizona
You're playing
Diamondbacks,
for the
Cardinals.
You're playing for Arizona, only Arizona.
What's their isn't Phoenix Suns? Yeah.
Oh yeah, that is true. That is
Yeah,
true. The
yeah.
Phoenix Suns. Arizona,
And,
the college even has. I can't think of There's Arizona. There's the Arizona Diamondbacks. There's the Arizona Cardinals. Arizona
What's their hockey team?
Coyotes.
But is
Right.
it Arizona or is it Phoenix?
I think it might just be Arizona. Honestly, let me double check. I believe it's the Coyotes. Yeah, Arizona Coyotes.
Well, there you go. But so the Suns are the only one that got a city name.
The Phoenix Suns. Phoenix only gets a sun. Everywhere else in Arizona doesn't get the Suns. But that's the thing. It's like
That's two facts I got on you that you didn't know.
Cardinals play in
Man.
Glendale.
We should have had trivia Friday
Yeah.
today.
Cardinals play in Glendale, and I think the Diamondbacks might play in Phoenix too. I'm pretty sure they do. I think they all play in Phoenix. Well, maybe the Coyotes might not, but I think they all kind of play in Phoenix. I want to say Phoenix is a super city. Super city, I guess, is what they call those for sports that have the 4 major sports venues in it too. Because not many cities have that too, where they have the baseball.
The Cardinals don't play in Phoenix. They play in Glendale.
Yeah, but how far is Glendale from
I don't
Phoenix?
know, but it's not Phoenix. So you can't say all 4 teams play in Phoenix if the Cardinals don't play in Phoenix.
Well, Detroit's one where there's 4. For sure. Detroit
Tigers,
has 4.
Lions, Red Wings, Pistons.
Detroit has the Super 4. LA has the Super 8. Literally a Super 8. New York has the Big 4. Big schools. Chicago has the Big 4 too.
LA? 8 in LA?
Huh?
8 in LA? Kings for hockey. Then they have the Rams for football. Angels, Dodgers. Lakers, Clippers. That's 6.
They got
And then the the Galaxy for soccer. I don't even know if we're gonna count that, but
they have if you want to count those type of teams too. Well,
yeah, but we were just like,
they
don't
have
8 major.
I
They
mean,
have
if
2
you're
football
talking road teams, I mean, I was kind of looking at that too. They have the 4. They have the 4 major, but they also have Los Angeles FC, the football club, the LA Galaxy, like you said. Then, if you really want to go into, they have the Sparks. They have the
Sparks.
UCLA. You got UCLA in college too, which is huge.
Well, they also have USC in LA too.
Yeah, they have a lot of colleges in the Los Angeles Extreme.
The Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim.
That's a cool logo, the Extremes logo.
All right, let's take a break, and when we be back, we'll have Christina Dugan get us back on track. She'll get us back on track with Ysn softball after this break on YSN.
When looking for home design inspiration, don't just be inspired, be Baird inspired. Whether new or remodeling, Baird Brothers has the latest trends like shiplap to refresh your home. Go from inspiration to installation with our wide selection of in-stock American hardwoods. From the rustic charm of antique oak to the warmth of traditional cherry, Baird Brothers has what you need to make your home inspiring. Baird Brothers, our family's heritage, your family's home.
For a great vehicle and a great experience, come to Boardman Mitsubishi today. As always, our full lineup of Mitsubishi models comes with a standard 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Boardman Mitsubishi, your hometown Mitsubishi dealer since 1999.
Coca's Pizza, always supporting our community and our local athletes. Stop in on game day or score big and have it delivered right to your door. Check out our daily specials at cocaspizza.com. That's Coca's Pizza, we serve it hot.
At Hubbard Chevrolet, Hubbard can help you get the financing you need regardless of your situation. I'm Tony Page, and I've helped thousands of customers in Northeast Ohio and Western Pennsylvania buy a vehicle. Visit HubbardChevy.com to get pre-approved. Remember, folks, Hubbard can help.
You're not waiting to see what the world has in store for you. It's more about what you have in store for the world. All you need is the opportunity. All you need are the resources of a large university and the advantages of a personalized academic setting where you can experience new worlds in the arts and sciences, business, and education and make them your own. We are where you shape your future. We are Youngstown State University and proud.
Welcome back to Running Point on ysnlive.com. Anthony Hartwig alongside Ty Bartell, as we are brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. If you can't tell, their logos everywhere. Ty, we are patiently waiting Christina Dugan of Ysn Softball. Before we get to her, let's just kind of recap. Ysn's softball program and their season they had and everything that people should look forward to this year. Obviously, Ysn had a great class of seniors that they say goodbye to, but they still have a lot of talent on that roster that's coming back off of a regional final run and this close to getting to the state tournament. It's a great softball team in the area, and they host a great tournament as well in the middle of the season at McCoon Park for breast cancer awareness.
Yeah, and one thing, a lot of things to be proud of for Ysn, making it to the regional finals last year in a thrilling game with South Range. And we know what Coach Kernan was able to set culture-wise with this program too. And if you never got a chance to really get to see Coach Kernan's style, you could go back on our YouTube page. We have interviews with him too. I think DJ did it when Coach Kernan went on to college ranks, and I think it was called The Last Softball U or something like that. So check that out on our YouTube page. But Christina Dugan has a great program and some great athletes on her hand going into this season. And as she pops in right now, why don't we get a chance to meet some of these athletes, coaches? What we do with all of our area teams, we always like to kind of start off with those meet the team segments too. And I know this is a program that lost a bit of seniors last year, but it seems like you guys are returning still a ton of talent. What are you excited for bringing back this year? And what are some new names to look forward to in Irish softball?
Hi guys, thanks for having me. We have 7 returners, even though we lost 3 big seniors who all went off to play college softball. But we have Ava Fedor, we have Lainey Bednar, Alyssa Sheely, Paige Ogden, and Maddie McLandrick, who are they're just awesome leaders and can contribute in different ways. And those are our senior leaders. We also have a couple juniors that were returning starters as well. And we have a couple of freshmen and sophomores that help, kind of create that mix of a great group. I'm grateful to this be my first year head coach at Ysn. I'm grateful that this is the group that I get to come in with.
Coach, I know last year Paige kind of shared innings with Emily as far as in the circle. Now she gets to kind of be highlighted as I assume going to be your number one pitcher. What kind of growth have you seen from her, and what kind of things are you expecting from her this season to take up that one spot in your pitching rotation?
She has a lot of different pitches, in her, that she's able to throw well. The confidence and poise that she brings brings onto the field says a lot in itself. And she's definitely a leader by example. And we're really looking forward to not only how she is in the circle, but also how she is hitting wise too. I think she's going to be a stud in our lineup.
Let's kind of highlight your softball experience leading up until getting this position at Ysn, and what kind of made you decide the Irish too? Because we know teams go out, they're the ones that select the coaches, but still, it's got to be a mutual agreement thing. Coaches have to find schools they're interested in. So, what kind of gravitated you to Ysn too, and what makes you so excited to be a part of this program, coaching it now?
So I started back my 5th year at YSU. I started back helping out with Coach Kernan, just in the hitting barn. So actually, that's been awesome because some of the girls that I have now get to coach and see them grow as people. I've seen them play when they were 10, and so I started working with him on and off. I went to other programs. I moved around a little bit, and then came back to the area, and I actually had a teaching position open. There was a teaching position open at Ysn, and I said, why not, and tried it. And softball was part of the reason what brought me back to Ysn a little bit too. And, but I've always been in contact with Coach Kernan, and, the opportunity came. I love that Ysn gives this it's like a big school feel, but a small school still setting, and has that family and close-knit support and care for each other. And the girls in the itself, I told you, that was part of the reason, I love the group that I get to come in with. So always been a part since I've come to the Youngstown area. I've been around Ysn a little bit here and there as an assistant coach, but I'm really excited.
Coach, before we had you on, we were talking about the success that Ysn has had in the last several years as a softball program, and kind of highlighted last year with that run that they had all the way to the regional finals. How do you kind of build on that success, but also let the girls realize that this is a new team and they can't put the pressure on what last year did to kind of try to always look up to that standard? They have to kind of be their own identity.
Yeah, Coach Kernan, he really did build an amazing program, and they're big shoes to fill. And thankfully, I have a great support and staff that really are the same group that have been with him for several years. And even Coach Barb Balestrino, she has been with Coach Kernan for her whole 20 years. And so your question is great, because that's exactly what I want. I want to continue a winning, continue a tradition that, and the program that he has built, but along with, bringing on new things and developing, new traditions. And I think that's honestly why I wanted to take the position for the most part, because I felt like with me and our coaching staff, I felt like we were the best people to be able to do that.
I think having the experience under Coach Kernan and just with this kind of group helps out tremendously too, going into this kind of year as the head coach. What are some of the biggest things you have learned in your coaching tenure from when you started to now, and with the experiences you've had under some really good head coaches in the area too?
I've learned through Coach Kernan, like sometimes you got to go with your gut, and if your gut feels like it's right, then it's probably going to be right. And even though it might not be the most popular at the time, sometimes that's the way to go. I've also learned that the girls are going to be put in pressure situations, whether it's in life or whether it's on the softball field, and to prepare them for that and to be able to get them mentally sound and prepared for that, I think is going to be a huge stepping stone into continuing to keep our tradition and hopefully, win some games.
Coach, we got to talk to Coach Kernan a lot, and I know one of the things he was most proud of about this program off the field was the community outreach that they're able to do, and the stuff they do for the community in their volunteer work, and just their ability to reach out to the people that support them. Talk about your team and how proud you are of the girls already for what they're doing, and some of the plans that you have for them to do this season.
So they've been working out off season, preseason workouts since October. And I also, in terms of outreach and things like that, we continued on some of the things that Coach Kernan, put into place. volunteering at a local church at a food bank, and I think that helps unify them and bring them together and serve other people. And that's ultimately, they get to serve people, you serve God. And I think that helps, with our team unity and team bond. So we just did a youth camp, and they all volunteered so generously and so willingly, and they are amazing with the girls. And it was just it was natural for them.
Shifting gears into this season now, and let's get on to the diamond a little bit with this question. Just looking at your schedule too, obviously not in the huge conference, so it allows for a lot of non-conference games to be scheduled. Talk to me a little bit about some of these non-conference games that you're excited for these girls to get a chance to play this year, because we know the Irish usually schedule up.
So, Kernan, thankfully, Coach Kernan, it was a good transition. That was probably one of the greatest things, that I had a great working relationship with my AD and a great working relationship with Coach Kernan. And I think that had benefited our scheduling process to go smoother. And I'm just looking forward to even our next couple scrimmages, one game at a time, one inning at a time, one pitch at a time. But I'm looking forward to facing Austintown in our scrimmage Saturday. I'm looking forward to facing Boardman next week. And so I think that in itself is exciting, and we get to play local, and, even though it's a scrimmage, but big games coming up. Like I said, I just want to make it one pitch at a time, one game at a time, and told the girls, play every game like it's your last. And I truly believe that, because then you leave it all out in the field, and it doesn't matter who the person is, who the opponent is you're playing.
Coach, before we let you go, I know you've highlighted some people that are on your staff already, but go through the softball staff and the assistants you have and the people that are helping you make this program what it is in your first year as the head coach.
For sure. So Barb Balestrino, she is a returning assistant coach. She's been with Coach Kernan his whole career here at Ursuline for about 20 years. Coach Rebecca Hart, she is an Ursuline alum as well, and she's been with Coach Kernan for quite a while as well. Since I began, she had been there throughout. And then Coach, we call him Coach Doc, Coach Dan Dankovich. He was a assistant coach for the Ursuline girls basketball team, and he was there last year as well. So that's the core of the varsity staff, and we were all a part of last year's season together. And then we have brought on a few newbies, because fortunately we get to also have a JV program. And I think that's great in terms of getting the girls reps and getting them to be able to grow and learn and get some playing time. So we have Jody Pedeline and Chelsea Rezo and Ray Jaminette. They're all willing to help out in new ways. And I think that's great.
Coach, before we let you go, I want to just give you the opportunity to give a shout out or a call out to the Irish faithful. When is your first game, and when can they come out to get out there and support you guys?
So it's March 26th at 11:30, and JV will play at 11:30. It's a doubleheader back-to-back, and varsity plays directly after at the YSU facility, and we play against Field.
So get out there March 26th. It's a double header too. Anthony loves those words too. Double header when it comes to softball. So having those two teams, Field and Irish, March 26th, they open things up too. Don't want to miss it.
Hopefully they're in those new all green unis that I saw, because those were sharp.
They did an awesome job fundraising to get those. So I'm proud of them for that.
Ursuline's always the best looking softball team as far as their threads go.
I think they do a great job with it. Coach, with the success we anticipate for this season, I'm sure we're going to be talking to you again real soon. Good luck with the season, and we look forward to March 26th.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Coach.
Coach Christina Dugan, the head coach now of the Ursuline Irish softball team, taking the wonderful time to join us. We can't thank her enough. And it's going to be a fun season in Ursuline, and three really good seniors that all went on to play college softball. But still, a lot of the core coming back. That's 7 players from that starting varsity team that went all the way to regionals coming back. They'll have Paige Ogden in the circle being their number one. I'm interested to see who they go to split innings with her, who they try to give some innings to, because last year Paige and Emily kind of went 1 and 2 and they kind of split. So interested to see who steps up in that number 2 role as far as their pitching staff goes. But Paige is a really good pitcher. So, I mean, she went toe to toe with a lot of great ones. She actually started did she start the first regional game, or I think she started in the South Range game and pitched pretty well. I mean, it was 3-2, so South Range didn't light her up or anything
That's
like
the
that.
case. That kind of experience is going to pay off huge going forward.
Yeah, I mean, she got a lot of reps last season. It's not like their pitching staff was completely left barren because they lost a senior that went on to play in college. So they're going to be good in the circle. They're going to have a really good schedule, just like last year. They were playing some of the top teams in the state because they had full intentions to go to the state tournament, and I imagine their schedule has a lot of teams in there that are ranked in the state in higher divisions.
Yeah, and I mean, scrimmaging against two really good teams in that AAC and Boardman and Fitch. I mean, that's scheduling up and that's scheduling tough.
They're gonna meet Sydney Watts real quick.
Yeah, you
by the way,
the other day. Yeah,
we didn't get a chance to. I didn't get a chance to fanboy a little bit because I got to see Sydney Watts not see her live, but see her video wise for the first time against live hitting. Oh man, Ty, I texted you as soon as it happened. Like, they went up against Hoover, who is reigning district champion. They're a district championship lineup, and Sydney Watts struck out 12 in 4 innings.
That's every out recorded in a 4-inning stretch was by way of the K. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous against a district championship lineup.
No earned runs, 1 walk, 2 hits, and 12 strikeouts in 4 innings.
It's a scrimmage, folks, and she's a freshman.
Holy smokes!
She's a freshman, folks. This is 4 years. You have to stay tuned to this. She just went up against a district championship lineup and shut them down.
The Fit softball Twitter put a video of one of her strikeouts, and my word, was this hitter so far behind her rise ball, and it was almost in the glove before she started to swing. It's good. It's good, guys.
She has some phenomenal velocity as a freshman, and imagine if she's living in the high 60s, low 70s at some point.
I'm not underplaying it, and she's a star. She's a superstar. She's going to be someone that we're talking about for the whole season. The thing that's going to be kind of around her is, one, can they get her run support? They're going to be up against really good pitching as well. Not just in the AAC, but their schedule. So they have to get her run support. Can their defense back her up when she does, actually let people hit the ball, which probably won't be that often.
Fitch came literally maybe they came 1 to 2 seasons away from
the big question for Fitch is also who they're going to get to supplement her, because obviously you don't want to ride her all season.
Not as a freshman.
The one arm with a freshman, she might be gassed by tournament time if you do that. So you have to find someone that kind of comes in and supplements her as a 2 pitcher. And it's got to be someone that kind of looks different than her.
They had 2 players in this program that are definitely, I think, superstars at the same time, just in different grade levels. Like, could you imagine if Lydia Spalding and Sydney Watts played on the same softball team?
Right.
Like,
if that was your 1-2
earlier,
punch.
if Sydney was a freshman a year or 2 years earlier, this happens, and you might be talking about a Fitch state Final 4 run. Then.
Just to put this in perspective, guys, I mean, Lydia Spalding's a really good pitcher. Went to Penn State, and this Hoover team kind of touched her up a little bit in that district championship game. I know district championship scrimmage, 2 different things. I don't know how many players in that lineup that Hoover lost. Full disclosure, I don't know how many seniors they had, but you have a team that the last game they played against another team was Fitch. Well, the last team that Fitch played against another team was against Hoover, and they hit Lydia Spalding. They could see her. So to see that lineup could not even really touch Sydney Watts to She's going to be a Division I pitcher. I have no problem saying about that. She's being coached in travel ball by Megan Betza, who is an All-American at Michigan. So she's getting good lessons. I'll tell you that much. It's just she's going to be a superstar. We're going to be talking about her name for 4 years, and I just got a chance to see it on video against live hitting on Wednesday, and I was like, oh. And next Tuesday, I'm going to go watch her live against South Range and see what that kind of looks like. So
that'll be exciting to see how she continues to develop.
Now she's got Ysn on Saturday. I'm sure they'll try to get at least 3 innings out of her on Saturday. Probably the goal is probably 3 or 4 innings every scrimmage going forward. So we'll see. It's going to be fun.
It'll be interesting to see for
And
sure.
All that being said, it's still a really tough district for Fitch to get out of. Like, let's not say, okay, Sydney Watts is going to be a superstar and just stamp them as district champions, because at the end of the day, Hoover won that scrimmage. It was like 8-7 after both teams put in some relievers. So when both teams starters left, though, it was 1-1. So yeah, it's still going to be a really tough district to get out of, and it's softball. So anything can happen, but it's fickle. So, but Sydney Watts is going to give them a heck of a chance to get out of that district and probably make a good run at state.
Probably a good 4 chances to get out of that district too for the next 4 years too. So that's the thing you love if you're Coach Ward. You see that and you're like, yep. We got we have the circle.
I think he's sitting
check marked for 4 years.
He was probably sitting in the dugout on Wednesday going, oh my gosh, I get this for 4 years. you know,
4 years of his dominance,
blessing of riches, over there at Fitch. So
success breeds success, man.
I'm excited. That gets me stoked when I saw like that rise ball and Hoover batter just so far behind it. I was like, oh my god. Oh man. Okay, so we have some off. Well, actually, it's almost time for Coach Guerin at Wellsville. I think he's coming on at 1. So what we'll do is we'll stay here for a couple minutes. We'll take a break. We'll get back to Coach Guerin from Wellsville, and then we will go right into pre-recorded interviews.
Marathon. You're about to get 4 coaches in the second hour. Bam, 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 bam. Mm-hmm. One after another on
because we went off on a big tangent about pro sports teams and where they're located compared to what they're called.
Yeah,
that got us so distracted. So because of that, you're going to get 4 coaches in a row.
Hey, we had fun conversations too, and I mean, hey, they're all baseball coaches from 3 different coaches.
By the way, while we were on break, we got this comment from Mark Roth pointing out that Pittsburgh's got 3, Cleveland's got 3. Which is true, but we were talking about 4, and
combined they have the big 4. They have the hockey and the basketball team.
What?
The Pittsburgh Fish? Where are they at?
What has the big 4?
I said combined. Cleveland and Pittsburgh has big 4 all 4 sports. If you're in the Youngstown area, you do have pretty good access. They're both only an hour away, so you do have access to all 4 pro sports teams. And think about that for a second.
For most people in our listening area, Pittsburgh's a little bit closer, like 45 minutes, hour and a half.
If you're out,
you're more like hour.
Like me, well, actually, I'm more like 40 minutes to Cleveland, hour and 40 to Pittsburgh. BMAC, Brandon McPherson's out by my neck of the woods too. He's a little bit closer to Cleveland.
BMAC, where have you been, buddy?
If you're in that Bonner and Waterloo territory, you're a bit closer to Cleveland.
Brandon hasn't commented on our show since football season. I feel so hurt, and honestly, I'm offended. So
better let him know that. you better.
He's listening. I know he's listening.
Add him on socials. But yeah, we're gonna have Guerin coming up at 1. We have Ryan Wolf, we have Chad Rankin, and we have Michael Gennari, all coming up too in the second hour of the show, and respectively Guerin at Wellsville, Wolf at Columbiana, Rankin at Newton Falls, and Gennari at Niles. So we quite literally are in pretty much every other conference too that we represent in this one. Almost every conference that we represent in this one too. In one day too, every full conference. So exciting times to just kind of get a look around the competition levels too, and just see some of these teams in different conferences and what they have in front of them to come away with conference championships.
Do you like baseball? Yes, I like baseball. Well, guess what? You're about to get 4 interviews. Boom, 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 boom. That should be what? 15. 30.
It'll take up about a good hour.
Yeah, so it should be the last hour if we time it right.
Yeah, it'll take up a decent hour of your time too. If you hang on with us.
Before we take that break, because March Madness is happening and we couldn't skip 2 shows in a row to watch it. I want an update on the scores. So let me get the scores up.
Just so I can hear that Ohio State's getting.
Ohio State is up 19-14 on Loyola Chicago with about 3:30 to go in the first half. Auburn and Jacksonville are tied at 11 early in that one, 12:54 to go in the first half. So those are the only 2 games happening right now. 1:45 Texas Tech tips off, and then at 2:00 Purdue and Yale, 2:45 Delaware Villanova. So it'll be fun. But right now, the only ones that are going on right now, Ohio State is winning by 5, and early. Don't want anyone to be like, oh, upset alert, but early. Auburn is tied with Jacksonville State.
Anthony's got Yale winning the whole damn thing.
Oh yeah. Why? I went to YSU and they kept telling me that Y doesn't stand for Yale. I thought it did.
He's
I thought I was going to UCLA, the university at the corner of Lincoln Avenue.
He's like, I thought all that hard work I put in on those trumpet.
Yeah, I thought I was going to Yale. And I thought, well, I'm not going to Yale, but at least I'm going to UCLA. And they're like, no,
Anthony, you quit trumpet lessons in middle school. You can't come to Yale now. You quit working hard at middle school, Anthony. This is for the people that work. No, let me rephrase that now, because considering YSU is one of our schools, I am not at all trying to say that you do not work if you go to YSU.
Good state bias.
Oh man, no. Yeah. I realized after the fact that I said
you know how you feel about it. That's cool. Should I bring up YSU's commercial real quick just to give them a?
Just play it real quick. Oh, give them a shout out. We love you at YSU too. If I had
it by itself, I would. I don't have it by itself. It's part of our break loop. On that note, we'll take our second break of the day. Be back with Coach Guerin of Wellsville Baseball and a lot more after this on Running Point, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
New things happen all day. Some are good, some not so good. In today's complicated world, while you're busy working, playing, and living life, we're busy helping you make sense of the day's news. And there's only one place where it comes together with clarity, context, and accountability. It's 21 News at 6 with me, Madison Tromler, and Derek Steyer.
21 News at 6. It's what the day's news really means to you.
Welcome home to a home made homier with Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods. Inspiration starts at BairdBrothers.com and is turned into reality when high-quality hardwoods are delivered right to your home. Baird Brothers has the latest design trends, shiplap and skinny lap interior siding, antique oak rustic flooring, and, well, you'll find them all at BairdBrothers.com. Ordered easily, delivered conveniently, enjoyed comfortably. BairdBrothers.com.
At Greenwood Chevrolet, shop with confidence knowing we're ready to go the extra mile for you. With the largest selection of used vehicles in the Valley, backed by the Greenwood Advantage Warranty. Every one of our vehicles has undergone our own 126-point inspection, so it passes the most important inspection, yours. No other dealership has the extra inventory, gives you extra for your trade, and goes the extra mile for you. Only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
WRS Wealth Advisors, the area's premier wealth and retirement specialists. Located on South Avenue in Boardman.
Quality, customer service, and integrity. Those are the 4 words that have driven our success since 1957 at Joe Dickey Electric.
Joe Dickey Electric is one Mahoning Valley landmark business that stays current with the requirements of our customers. Family owned and managed, we are an electrical contractor and energy solutions provider. Every member of our team adds to his or her skill set through ongoing training. Residential, commercial, industrial, automotive, and more. We keep ahead of the needs of our customers with a fleet of more than 50 vehicles and 24/7 emergency service, so you're never left in the dark.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Ysn's Running Point, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. Anthony Hartwig alongside Ty Bartell, and we are patiently waiting Coach Justin Guerin of the Wellsville baseball team. As we wait, let's talk about EOAC baseball a little bit. We know Columbiana's been kind of running the roost the last several years, but also in that EOAC outside of Wellsville, who we're about to get a preview from, Lisbon puts a dang good program on the field every year. So Lisbon will be something to watch. I think United Baseball is going to be on the rise. They put a lot of experience on the field last year and bringing a lot back. So a lot of those reps are going to be returning from United. So this EOAC is going to be very interesting.
Yeah, no doubt. And it's going to be dictated by the arms that are inside of it, too. And if the team like these Wellsville United and Lisbons are going to want to contend, they're going to go as far as the pitching realm takes them, too. So as long as the Tigers are getting some good, solid performances on the mound, I think they got the hitting to kind of keep pace inside of this conference, too. And we know the improvements we see year to year with baseball are staggering too. So who knows what kind of bats are going to be in this Tigers lineup this season?
Everyone knows that in baseball, especially against good teams, you need quality pitching, timely hitting, and good defense. I mean, that's it. So I say that as if it's like super easy to do.
Yeah, I mean that's the blueprint.
That's all you need to do is just need to get hits when you need them. You need to have really good pitching, and also, and I think my video is frozen.
It is a little bit,
It
Anthony.
is frozen. You can hear me though, right?
I could hear you.
All right,
sure.
you start
There you
here.
go. You're back. I think you're back.
Okay. Whew, I thought I was gonna be in trouble. All right, let's let on Coach Guerin, Justin Guerin of Wellsville Baseball. Coach, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
Hey guys, thanks for having me on.
Coach, well, first and foremost, I mean, you got to be happy with this weather warming up a little bit. It's got to be a little bit easier getting these guys on the diamond and getting some practices under your belt now.
Absolutely. It's so nice out right now, about 70 degrees, been that way the last 3 days. With the turf facility down at the football field, we've been able to get outside a little bit early on, but we've been up at the park the last 3 days, hoping the infield's dry enough today that we can get some infield work done. So excited to be out there.
Coach, let's kind of just talk about the team going into the season. We always like to start off with a sort of meet the team segment for our area coaches. So I want to give you that opportunity to kind of shout out all those guys that are returning this year that you expect to be the leaders of this team, as well as some of the new faces that you think are going to turn some heads this year.
Yeah. So Chad Wilson's a guy that he's a senior for us this year. We believe that he'll step up on the mound, maybe hold down the third base job for us a little bit. After losing Troy Carter last year, we're hoping for big things out of him. He's our lone senior. Our junior class is probably our best class in terms of athletes and the number of athletes that we have. We got Jackson Brewer, Gavin Kuntz, Dalton Hefner, Colby Ramsey, Isaiah Greathouse. So I mean, we got a junior class that got a lot of experience last year after having a freshman season that they didn't get to have due to COVID. So looking for big things out of them. Incoming guys, sophomores. Justin Temple got a lot of time for us last year. He started pretty much the whole year. So big things out of him also. Nate McGraw, Hadley Tice, Charlie Wilson. Those are 3 sophomores that I think have really competed well this spring so far. So I'm hoping that 2 to 3 of those guys can crack the lineup for us and do a nice job. We got 3 freshmen coming in that are really going to help us out, and Landon Ramsey, Kason Ramsey, and Tyler Landis. Baseball wise, those guys have been around the game a long time, so I think that they'll get to see quite a bit of action for us, and they'll do good things.
The thing that sticks out when you go down that roster is, like you said, the amount of juniors you have, and the fact that the juniors are going to be the leaders of this team, despite having one senior. You're going to ask a lot about from your juniors to lead. So really, you get 2 years of really good leadership. What kind of conversations have you had with your juniors about what you're going to expect from them leadership wise, and how have you seen them kind of respond to those conversations already early in the season?
Yeah, so just the last couple of years talking with those guys after losing that freshman season, we knew where we were going to be at this year and next year, and knowing that we needed those guys to step up and play big roles. So, I mean, I think they'll respond. They're a good group of guys, very athletic, multi-sports. They're used to varsity sports. So we're looking for big things out of them, and I think that we'll get that.
Coach, let's take a dive into this conference real quick and get your perspective on it. Where do you think the competition level is at with the EOAC going into this year? I mean, we know Columbiana kind of ran the house last year too. They're bringing a decent amount back, but what's it going to take for the Tigers to compete and get a piece of that EOAC crown at the end of the year if they're doing it? What are they going to need to check mark to get that at the end of the year?
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head with compete. We got to go out, and we've been talking a lot about it in practice. We got to compete day in and day out. We got to compete with each other. Columbiana obviously is the top dog in this league. They have been for quite some time. United's up there every year. Mansfield does a great job out there. Coach Andrew down at Lisbon's got a great program. Southern's, they're always a good baseball team. So we just have to go out every day with the attitude that we're going to compete, give our best. And, I think that we'll be there at the end if we can take care of that.
Coach, obviously we know the teams in the league. We know what you're going to face in the league. Let's talk about also your non-conference opponents and the schedule as a whole, and how much you think it's going to prepare you for the postseason.
Yeah, so, out of conference, we also are in the OVAC, which is a tough conference also. So we got, we start off opening the year with Toronto now. We had a little schedule change at the top of the schedule. So Saturday the 26th, we're going to Toronto. We're going to get tested right out of the gate, looking for our guys to go down there and compete and respond well. Toronto's got a great program. Coach Perk, I think they 23 or 24 straight sectional titles now. So that's a tough one right out of the grip. We have Edison on a schedule also. Coach Colopy down there has got an outstanding program. I know they return a lot. They got a beautiful new facility down there. So we're anxious to go down there. Who else do we have? We have Beaver Local, Coach Agnew. They got a great program out there. He's been there for a long time. We got a couple Division I schools in Youngstown East and Youngstown Cheney. So I think that our schedules come together nicely, and we'll get tested early and often and prepare us for the tournament.
Coach, let's talk about your program now in particular. I mean, playing a lot of other great programs in the area, but talking about the Wellsville program, what do you kind of what have you kind of set as the culture over there in Wellsville? And I guess in another way to phrase the question, what do you kind of hope those boys would say what it means to be a Tiger and what it means to have that represented on the front of their jerseys if we were to ask them?
One thing we talk about all the time is being fundamentally sound and mentally tough. We want to go out and be tougher than our opponent. We're going to, throughout baseball, you're going to have errors, you're going to have adversity. We got to be able to overcome those things just the same way as in life. So I think being a Tiger is just that, overcoming adversity, wearing that name on the front of your jersey proud, but also playing for the name on the back of your jersey and your family. You represent not only Wellsville, but that name. So we talk about that often, and hopefully, our guys receive that message, and I think they do. Like I said, we got a great group of guys, just really excited to be around them. So I think that they'll leave their own legacy on the program, and that's what they would take from that message.
Coach, we know that the head coaches get a lot of the limelight. They obviously get the interviews, but we also know that you put together a great staff, and you wouldn't be anywhere without the work that they put in as well. Talk about the people you work with and what they bring to this Wellsville program.
Yeah, so coaching-wise, we got Jimmy 30-Acre. He's been with me the whole tenure down there. I think this is year 6 for us. Coach Bear's been there the last couple of years, Nick Bear. He's an outstanding job. He works with our corner infielders a lot and some outfield. Seth Kerner, he's a Wellsville alum, graduated in 2019. He played a couple years up at Teal College. So he's back on the staff helping us out. He works a lot with our middle infielders and catchers. And this year we went out and got Dominic Michael. He graduated from Southern Local and also from Earlham College. He pitched out there. So he come on the staff this year, and he's working with our pitchers. So I got a really good staff. I can trust these guys. It's really nice to just be able to take a step back and take in practice and be more of the manager type and not have to worry about, being around the entire team, I can walk to different areas of practice and see what we're working on.
Talking about your coaching experience now, one of my final questions for you now is, what are some of the biggest things you've learned about yourself as a coach from year one coaching up until now at this point right now?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me, one of the hardest adjustments, was patience. The way I was brought up, I played for my dad. So, I mean, I'm sure you can imagine what that was like. So, being able to settle down and be patient was a big thing for me.
Coach, we want to thank you so much for the time that you've given us today and helping us preview the Wellsville baseball season. We look forward to talking to you all year about this team as the year goes on, and I know we're going to talk about a lot of big wins for you guys. So thank you again for your time, and we'll talk to you again real soon.
Thank you.
Thank you, Coach.
Coach Justin Guerin, the head coach over there at Wellsville for the baseball program. He does a great job. They're going to have a great team, and we can't wait to see what they do this year. March 26th, another team that's opening on that Saturday. They will travel to Toronto to kick off their season in Tiger Country. So it's going to be a fun time. On March 26th, we have already known about a couple of games going on, that if you want to be a crazy sports fan and go to a game in the afternoon and then head on down to South Range for our All-Star game, we would
basketball all-star game. It's going to be electric. There's going to be so many communities there, so many schools represented. It's going to be a fun time for that basketball.
It's going to be electric, and I know Joe Dickey's going to have to bring a lot of trucks because it's going to have a lot of electricity.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. Now the big question remains for our show. Do we stay in Tiger Country and just transport it to Newton Falls, or do we stay in the EOAC and venture over to Columbiana?
You know what? That's a good question, Ty. I think let's stay in the EOAC. Keep it on point. We'll go with Ryan Wolf, the head coach of Columbiana. You had the chance to talk with him. It was a great conversation, and we hope you all enjoy it. So here's Ryan Wolf, the head coach of the Columbiana baseball team.
Welcome in, everyone. Ty Bartell here with another Coach's Corner. This time we venture into the EOAC with the Columbiana Clippers here, as we are joined by Coach Ryan Wolf. And Coach, what we do with all of our area coaches, we always start off with a sort of meet the team segment. And when you got guys like Zachary and Riley coming back that logged over 75 innings and that great pitching staff last year, I'm sure there's excitement. But what are some other returners that we're excited for, as well as some new guys that you're excited to turn some heads over there in Clipper Country?
Yeah, you mentioned Zach and Riley, but our pitching staff in general, we have a number of guys, including Seth Spooner, who was limited a little bit last year in innings. We monitored it just because he was coming off some arm issues from the year before, but he's full go, ready to go. A couple other pitchers that are young and upcoming would be Alex Eusebio and Devin Doherty. We're real excited about them. They're sophomores. But just across the diamond, we have a lot of returners. Our first baseman, Brady Kreidler's back. In the outfield, Brandon Pipoli, and center fielder, he's back. Carson Dota, Trevor Deering played in the corners last year a lot and batted. They're back. Eddie Clancy played a lot of first, and he's looking to make a move to second base this year and provide more time. And he's back. Our catcher is a sophomore. Due to injury last year, he probably played over half the games as our starting catcher as a freshman, and he's back. So experience-wise across the diamond, we're really excited with what we have. Newcomers, we have 10 seniors, so we actually added some new guys. Nick Million, Ashton Kakavras, Carter Murphy are known for basketball, but they decided to come out, and we're excited to have more athletes out on the squad. And then as juniors, Max Gromes, Blake Nusser are guys we're hoping to see contribute. Another sophomore, Ian Less, he was a starter on the basketball team, gained valuable experience there as a real fast, athletic kid that we think could really help us.
Coach, let's just talk about this success you guys experienced inside that EOAC last year. I believe 11-0, if I'm not mistaken. You guys were undefeated. You ran the gauntlet too. What's it going to take for you guys to kind of have that repeat performance and in that EOAC to win that conference again? And just kind of comment on the undefeated conference slate last year.
So, ultimately it comes down to our pitching staff. Like we said, we're going to really roll with 5 deep, and then with a few other guys, relievers, and they can continue to be consistent. Pitching and good defense is what wins you games. The hitting will come, but especially in April, it's cold, it's wet. You got to be able to pitch and throw strikes. So I think in order to continue to go, and that's what we got last year, was really good pitching in the league games. A couple games against United where our bats went cold, and we won both games 3-2. And it took some different guys to contribute throughout the season. So, offensively isn't really, we want to score runs. We want to be aggressive on the base paths, but if we can hold our opponents to 3 runs or less, we feel we can win every single game.
Going into that and going hand in hand with that is the non-conference schedule. Obviously, you're in a kind of bigger conference, so it does allow itself to schedule a lot of games, but you do have some room for non-conference ones as well. What are some ones you're excited to get this team experience with against, too? Because I think we know the name of the game is just see as many good pitchers as you can before the tournament.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it just started. We faced West Branch last week. We played Marlington tonight in a scrimmage. Marlington's got 3 really good pitchers, probably 5. They're a really, really good team. So, the first kid we saw today was pumping in at 90, and it's good stuff for us to see. Non-conference, we open up with Rootstown. They're one of the best D3 schools in the area, and it's a team that we really want to play. I'm glad that we got them on our schedule to challenge. And we play Garrettsville Garfield's another really strong D3 team. Howland, we play Howland and Hubbard. We try to schedule up as much as we can. East Liverpool a couple times. And what ends up happening, as anybody that's a baseball coach at this time knows, that rainouts will happen. And, I'm real big. The Northeast Ohio Baseball Coach Association is awesome. And we send mass emails like crazy. And I will pick up games against any team at any time. So what our schedule says now is probably not what it's going to end with. But we'll end up probably picking up some more D2 and D1 schools as we go. Just last year we ended up playing Boardman twice. It's something that our kids are up for the challenge. I love to see our kids challenged, and I want to, help them grow and, not really worry about sizes of schools. Doesn't matter. When you're on the baseball diamond, it's the same game for everybody, and we go out and roll and play baseball.
Obviously, with the success that you were able to bring on this team last year, it obviously goes hand in hand with the culture. I mean, the kids are bought into, and that helps out a lot. If you were to put into words what the culture of Columbiana is and what it means to be a Clipper at the end of the day, what would you say that would be?
So the real big thing, we're pushing towards is just team. We play for the name on the front of the jersey. We want to have banners in the gym, and as we move forward, it doesn't matter who I am at what level. I know I can contribute. I want to be excited when I get to the park if I see my name in the lineup. If it's not in the lineup, I know that I may contribute at some time. And we have been lucky that we've had good numbers when I first started, but last year we had 30 kids. This year we have 29. We played 53 games in our program last year just through the regular season. If you add the summer league that we do and scrimmages, we played 70 games through 9 through 12 last year. This year it's the same thing. We have a lot of kids. We're looking to add some extra games. When you play Clipper baseball, you're going to play baseball, and that's what I think has been the key to our success in the league. And for a smaller school in the area is that our kids play. We have JV teams. We're always playing JV games. We're always looking, and they know when they come in, there's an expectation for them. They're going to play in some way to work to get better, because we have 6 coaches that we're going to coach them hard, and they know that rolling in. And I think that's why our numbers have been so good. That's what they want. They want accountability. They want expectations, and you come in our program, you're going to get it.
Staying on that trend, too, of just the JV and then the youth level programs, too, just giving you a chance now to shout out some of those other assistants and some other big names in this Columbiana program that, we know from the top down, it takes those youth programs to feed into the varsity schools, and that's what separates being a good team one year to a good program that consistently puts out good teams.
Yeah, we're lucky. Our Columbiana Youth Baseball does a really good job. The nice things, they have a bunch of fields on Mets Roads or grass infield. They really do a good job taking care of them. Our rec league is very good. I'm a big believer in rec leagues. We know what travel ball is. Travel ball is great, but more kids need to be playing baseball, and that's what we offer. And they play, in the local communities. And, we have freshmen now that have been able to continue to play because they played locally. And, it might not have been a situation, whether it was financially or just they weren't ready for a travel ball aspect, that they get to play baseball. And, they come up here and we have good freshman numbers. We have 8 this year, and we had 9 last year. And considering, the size of our school and the schools in the league and a lot of the area, that's exceptional. So it all starts with that feeder league, but the kids get to play baseball. So that's number one. And then with our JV squad, and Austin Severco has been my JV coach. I think this is his 5th year. The kids love him. He does a great job. They were at Marlington today, and he's fair with the kids. He's strict with the kids. They know the expectations, and they really, really enjoy playing for him. So moving up, my assistants Bryce Franken and Hank Schluter, Hank was a college pitcher at Worcester. So our pitchers, they get coached by a college pitcher that played at Columbiana, and they love Columbiana. And then Bryce is our outfield coach, and he, those kids, every pitch, there's somewhere to go, and they know it, and they're always looking in. And he does a heck of a job. And even he coaches third base with the bases. And then I have a young guy, Evan Keneally, played for me, and he's the most passionate kid I know about baseball. So our kids, once they get to our level, they're not just pushed aside, because there are 5, 6. I've had coaches that are left. They're volunteering now a shorter time that are with them, and they're going to coach them. They're going to coach them hard, and no matter their skill level, they're going to be coached to become better baseball players and better people.
Where does your love for the sport originate, and what kind of fuels you to keep coming back year in and year out to kind of coach and lead the next level of baseball talent?
So I've always grown up loving baseball. My dad was a big baseball guy. What's interesting though is like football became my game. When I was in college, I was playing both football and baseball. And my freshman year at John Carroll, and then after my freshman year, I went into my sophomore year going to do both, and then eventually just kind of gave way to football and continued my football career there. But baseball has always been something. It's just something about spring, something about being on the diamond. I love going to Pirate games and rubber duck games, and just anywhere that there's baseball being played. That's that drives me. Just yesterday I was out working on the field and the sun's out, and I took a picture of it, and it's something that I love being on, just standing there and watching kids play. And the best thing about baseball is it's so unpredictable, and every day is a little bit different. You could be the best team, but what type of team pitcher you're running into, or what type of day did your guy have, or maybe they just lucked into a base hit that you didn't expect, and how are you going to react? And you're dealing with adversity all the time, and that's what life's about, is dealing with adversity and ready for that next pitch, and clearing your head and getting ready to go. And I think it teaches great lessons, and I love being a part of that.
Speaking of lessons, I think that kind of leads right into the next question. What are some things outside of the sport of baseball that you try to teach these kids to take with them in their life too? Or maybe some lessons that are in the sport of baseball that you kind of hope go hand in hand with a life lesson, and they're able to take it with them outside of the sport?
Yeah, so one of the things that we talk a lot about is the mental game, being mentally strong, because baseball is a mentally taxing sport, because things don't always go your way. And hitting a baseball is one of the hardest things to do in the world. So as you grow up and you go forward, when you hit adversity or something doesn't go your way, how do you clear your mind? How do you not act on emotion, and how do you act using what you've been taught, and the things that you believe in? That's a real big thing. And one of our rules this year actually is about being accountable for the jobs that you have, for the people you are around. I really I think a lot of times we pass off in this world now to other people that they're just going to do it, whether it's picking up a piece of trash on the ground, or helping somebody up off the ground, or in the sporting aspect, or there's just so many different things that we just pass up. And I want our kids to learn that no, you do it. Don't pass it up. It's not about a hierarchy or a person that should do it. It's anybody. We would have a better world that way. So that's one of the things we've been really, really talking about this year. And the kids wanted to make it a rule about that. And I think it's an awesome thing. And they're learning. They're getting better. We're not always great at cleaning stuff up, or seeing something and not walking past it. But that's just something that takes time and practice and emphasis.
I love the culture. I love the lessons being taught, and that just really gets at the real essence of the team. But now let's look on the diamond real quick and one of our final questions. And you talk about 10 seniors on the team. You're bringing back some great pitchers. It's a staff that had an ERA under 2 last year, some 300 hitters returning as well. What are some of the expectations that you have and some goals that you have for this team going into this season?
We have pretty lofty expectations this year. We always do. We always talk about winning the league, but we want to go beyond that. I don't think we haven't had the success in May that we want. Last year we were a seeded team. We were hosting Mooney in a sectional final, and things didn't quite go our way. And a couple of years ago, same thing. We were a 2 seed, and we lose in extra innings at our place. And we want to build to be the best that we can be in May. I think we've started off hot a lot these past few years and then kind of cooled off in May. So that's really been our emphasis is we win in May. We want to win in May. So our ultimate goal is just to continue to get better. So when we're in the May, we're at our peak. And that means monitoring like our pitch counts early, our usage of arms, whether somebody like you mentioned, Riley or Seth, do we want to play him in the outfield, or like somebody like Zach? Do we need to play him in the infield this game because he's going to pitch the next game, or he's just coming off pitching? We have enough depth that we can substitute guys and we can DH, or we can just give guys days off so that we are at our strongest in May and we're not burnt out, or we're not sore, we're not tired, those sort of things. So that's our ultimate goal. We want to do great things in May. What that means is, baseball is a fickle game, especially in a 1-game tournament. So we don't know, but if we feel that we're playing our best baseball, we will be proud of what we do and what we accomplish.
Hopefully the success in April leads it right into May for you, Coach. My final thing for you is more of a shout out for you to the Columbiana community. Shout out when your first game is and when the Clipper faithful can catch a game from you guys.
So our first game is on the road. It's March 30th. It's at Rootstown, but our first home game, our home opener, is against Howland. And we actually owe those guys. They got us pretty good last year, which is the next day, the 31st on Thursday. So hopefully the weather holds true. Our field's really dried out. Everything looks pretty good now. So you never know in March, but on the 31st, we'd love to see a big crowd out there rooting on our Clippers.
You heard it here first from Coach Wolf, Clipper faithful. March 31st. It's a Thursday, I believe, 5:00 start time. That should be between the Clippers and what was the opponent again?
Howland Tigers.
Clippers and the Tigers. And yeah, that's going to be a good one, no doubt. We'll be excited to talk with the Tigers coach as well. But for now, Columbiana, this is going to be an exciting season for you guys. 10 seniors coming back, and you can catch the Clippers March 31st. Against Howland. Coach Wolf, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
That was Coach Ryan Wolf of the Columbiana Clippers, joining Ty Bartell earlier in the week. We thank him for his interview and his time. I want to pop up this comment real quick.
Yeah, and I mean, talking with Coach Wolf, I mean, you could tell he does a great job, and it starts with that youth program. And like I said, you got to keep those kids interested, invested through a program all the way to high school, and they do a great job of that. Columbiana baseball is a real deal too, and I mean, it's just 2 words that seem to go together so well: Columbiana and baseball.
Indeed. Another 2 words to go together are Michael Graneri and baseball. He's been doing it a long, long time at Niles.
Very long time.
You had a chance to speak with the legend himself earlier this week. Let's hear what he had to say in his coach's corner. This is going to be Michael Graneri, the head coach over at Niles Baseball. Once again, you and Ty Bartell had the chance to talk.
Welcome in, everyone. Ty Bartell in here with another Coach's Corner. This time we go into the NE8 with Niles coach Michael Graneri of the Red Dragons Baseball Club. Coach, how we doing today?
We're doing great. The no snow on the ground, so we're in a good spot.
Yeah, baseball weather, certainly it's starting to feel like outside, Coach. As we talk about your baseball team this year, what we like to do with all our area coaches is give a chance to meet the team segment. So give a shout out to all the returners that you have for this season, as well as some new players that you think might turn some heads this season.
Yeah, well, we have a pretty senior heavy team this year. It's a very special group for me personally. My son is a senior, Mikey Graneri Jr., and I've coached most of these kids from T-ball all the way up. So it is, it's sort of a bittersweet year too for me, you know, knowing that this is probably going to be the last time I probably will be the last time I'm going to coach these guys. A lot of returners back, impact players from last year. Colton Christopher, Andrew Huffman, Anthony Fisher, Zach Masick, Jordan Stremo, all seniors who, had a real impact on our year last year. We have a real versatile club, guys that play multiple positions, guys that pitch. Bringing back this year as well, Sam Perrone, who did a heck of a job for us out of the bullpen last year, and junior Matt Kozak as well. Looking for big things from them. 2 sophomores, Chris Rochar last year played quite a bit as a freshman, and Landon Turner this year, looking sort of to make an impact on our team this year.
Coach, I kind of want to go beyond the question. I mean, I'm going to ask you about your son too, because obviously it's a special moment too, having that moment with your son this year too. It goes beyond coaching, but with coaching all these kids from T-ball up, you already have that special bond, and you're already kind of a father figure. All these coaches through it too. So, or all these kids, I should say, through it. So being that kind of father figure, what has that kind of relationship been like outside of the coaching realm, and just getting a chance to get to know these boys as individuals growing up from T-ball to this point now as seniors?
Yeah, well, you know, it's been I've been in the program at Niles since 1994. So, I've coached a lot of guys over the years, and we really pride ourselves on a family atmosphere. We try and strive to run a K-12 program. So while I've spent, a lot of time with these guys, obviously coaching them through Little League and all that, we've really start building those relationships with all our teams when the kids are really young. You get to know them. You get to know, how to coach them, what motivates them, different ways that we can, make an impact not only on their baseball careers, but their lives in general. Really taking a holistic approach to the athlete itself is something that we've always strived to do. Just try to make a positive impact on their lives. Be a part of their educational process and their growth.
Since being in the program since 94, you've obviously been able to establish a culture. You know a standard, and you've set a standard. So talk to me a little bit in detail what it means to be a Red Dragon at the end of the day, and what you hope your seniors, if we were to ask them what it means to be a Red Dragon, what you would hope.
Yeah, well, my brother and I took over the program in '96, and a long time ago, he came up with a little phrase, some letters, TTLO, which stands to the last out, and we're not a big slogan team or anything like that, but we know that the standard is set. It's been set by the teams that have come before us. And the expectations of how we work really drives the program. We try not to be result oriented. We try to, strive to get better every day. We really look at the game of baseball as pitch to pitch, win the pitch. So whether we're in the weight room or on the practice field, we're trying to win the rep. And really strive to get better every day and take care of little things. At the end of the year, you should be looking up at a successful season.
In your experience with coaching, obviously a tenure there with Niles, what are some of the biggest things you've learned about yourself as a coach since the point you started to now?
Well, I've acquired a newfound patience over the last 30 years that I don't know if I necessarily had. No, you know what's really interesting about coaching and coaching as long as I have is really just sort of the kids keep you young. You adapt. every year, I spend the summers trying to learn something new, whether it be baseball related or leadership related or, just relating to players, and trying to, provide them the best program that we can, in being adaptable. There are certain constants and certain things that we do in our program that are never going to change. And if they do have to change, then that'll probably be the end of my run. But, you adapt year to year. It's no different from, people ask, well, you guys brought a lot of guys back from a good team last year. You should be pretty good. Well, that's not the way it works. Last year's team put all that work in, and this year's team has to put that work in to have their own success. But as a coach, you've got to adapt, and you've got to stay current with, today's athlete and give them what they need to be successful.
Let's talk a little bit about the schedule that you got in place. Obviously, the conference you play in NE8 is already going to be tough. It's a kind of a grinder anyway with pitching. Yep. We know arms out the wazoo, but also talk about these non-conference games that you're excited for the team to be able to compete against.
Yeah, well, NE8, it's all about pitching, right? I mean, what a great conference. We're super excited to get in the middle of this thing again and compete. As far as our non-conference schedule, we will play 5 in Myrtle Beach, over spring break. And when you go down there, you're competing against some of the best teams all along the East Coast. And sometimes we've played teams from Wisconsin before. So those are going to be obviously a challenge. It's nice this year that spring break for us and that trip a little later in the year, kind of give us a nice little test before the tournament. But I like to, we like to vary our schedule, play some different teams, get a look at some other teams. Baseball is interesting. You can't really, you can't just line them up and say, well, we're a Division II school, so we're going to, just roll through everybody. The guy on the mound sort of dictates what's going to happen on that particular day. And it really doesn't matter how big or small your school is. If that guy dominates, you got a real good chance to win. So we're excited about the schedule. Our kids, they get tired probably of me hearing it from me, but we don't really worry too much about, the schedule as a whole. We're focused on today's practice and getting better today. And that's kind of what, how we kind of take care of our business.
Talking about just that Myrtle Beach trip too, being a little bit later in the season, do you see that as a coach an opportunity to, if this team's not completely gelled together, for it to kind of fully gel together right before a big tournament and kind of getting that time away from this area and just kind of getting that time to bond as a team and as a whole? Yeah, absolutely. We we travel on a bus. We are together. It's a business trip. 100%. We eat all our meals together. There's really no substitute for it. We were fortunate in 2012 to take our first trip, which ironically was the same year we won our first conference championship in the AAC. I don't think it was a coincidence, because the bonding, the chemistry, the learning about your teammates and kind of going through all of that together really plays a huge role in the chemistry of our team. We've had years where we went south and had a lot of success, 4-1, 3-2. We've had years where we went 0-5. But the results, really are minuscule compared to what it does for your team and the chemistry of your team. You've shouted out some other integral parts inside this Niles program, but of course we also know the head coaches get all kinds of limelight. We do the interviews and we like to highlight them, but we also know head coaches wouldn't be anywhere without the assistants and some other big pieces inside the program. So I want to give you the opportunity to shout out your assistants this season, as well as some other big names in that Niles baseball program. Yeah, well, for sure. With me, Aaron Johnstone, my pitching coach, we've been together,
probably 13, 14 years. Aaron pitched for my brother when he was the head coach, and I was the JV coach back in those days. Aaron is just he's you can't say he's my right-hand man. I mean, he is so integral in what we do. We wouldn't be where we are as a program if we didn't have him over the last so many years. Just an excellent educator, a guy who really knows how to communicate with kids and then knows pitching inside and out, not just the mechanics, but the mindset of pitching. Does a phenomenal job in games. Just a terrific baseball coach. Joe Toth's another guy that's been with me for a real long time. Joe's been the JV coach for a while. I'm sure a lot of other coaches listen to this that have been JV coaches. I was one for 9-10 years myself. That's where you learn how to coach, right? I mean, you really gotta wear all hats when you're the JV guy. Joe's getting a call up this year. He'll be with the varsity staff. I'm really excited to add him to our game day sort of operations of what we do. And then we hired another guy, a new person this year, Nick Dean, who is he's a PE teacher at our primary school, which kind of works nice in terms of us K to 12 and finding some of the younger players down there and being able to work with them. He'll run our JV squad this year. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention, my brother, TC Ganeri. He and I have been doing this for so long. TC's son's a catcher at Teal. So he kind of just does a little bit of consulting, we'll say, on the side for us. But really was the architect of the program. And my father, who runs sort of our booster club and takes care of a lot of the things that you see when you guys come out to Wilder Field, and has really helped us, with all the sort of physical things that we need to run the program. So it's really been a family affair. My coaches and the coaching staff have always been sort of an extended family, if not my family. And as well as our booster club, we have a tremendous booster club, tremendous support from a lot of guys whose sons have played over the years. We've also added Marco DeFalco as a volunteer assistant for us this year. Marco pitched for YSU, played for me when he was in high school, and Marco has brought a really cool sort of another set of eyes in there that's been through the Division I ranks and kind of helps Aaron Johnstone with the pitchers and kind of getting his feet wet a little bit in the coaching world.
Coach, I don't want to take too much of your time, so I'm going to leave you with one final question. Just talk to me a little bit about what keeps you coming back to this coaching year in and year out. Obviously, there's a love for it. There's a passion for it somewhere to do it for the longevity that you have. You talked about the JV years under your brother and then all that, and then you're still going at it too, and the family's very invested. Just talk to me about what's bringing you back year to year and what makes you love this Niles baseball program so much.
My town. I graduated in 93 from Niles. I played in the program. I've lived here my whole life. I'm going to live here my whole life. I love Niles McKinley. I love Niles. I love being, doing my part in my own little sort of contribution to better my community. And I love working with kids. I love seeing kids develop their skills. Seeing kids that come in the program that maybe didn't think that, they could do what they end up doing. It's great to get kids at the next level. And we've had a lot of kids move on and play collegiate baseball. But to just see a kid who, never thought he could compete at the high school level, compete. That's really satisfying. And I really enjoy all the relationships that I've had with my players over the years. And that's sort of, what keeps me going.
Chance to just call out the Niles community and when your first game's going to be, where they can find you and what time.
Yeah, we will open up on March 26th against the Lakeview Bulldogs. A former assistant of mine, Cam Carson, in his first year over there, will bring his team over to Wilder Field under the lights. Should be hopefully we get a nice crowd, and should be a good night if the weather cooperates.
We hope the weather cooperates with you, Coach, and it should be a good game. We had Coach Carson on a little bit earlier, and it was featured on the other day's show, too. So we'll be excited for that one, and it should be fun. Coach Ganeri and the Niles Red Dragons baseball program. We'll be looking forward to talking to you again real soon.
Sounds good. Thanks.
What a conversation with an absolute legend between Ty Bartell and Coach Graneri of Niles. Got one more for you. Hold on. Take a breath. We have Chad Rankin, the head coach over at Newton Falls Baseball. We're going to play that now. Ty, you're getting a lot of screen time today.
Yeah, I mean, I got a chance to talk with a lot of area coaches, and all of these were great interviews in their own regard. And that's another case, too, with Michael Ganeri. I mean, 25-plus years, when you have a quarter of a century under your belt with this, I mean, that's someone that just loves the sport and has influenced a lot of lives.
Here is your conversation with Chad Rankin, the head coach of the Niles baseball team, live on Running Point, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
Welcome in, everyone. Ty Bartell here with another Coach's Corner, and this time we go into Newton Falls as we are joined by Coach Chad Rankin of the Newton Falls Tigers. And Coach, I mean, with the weather warming up right now, you got to start feeling baseball's in the air right now, and we're closer than ever before.
Right. We're excited. We've got to go on the field the last 2 days, so it's been awesome. We got a scrimmage scheduled for tonight. Hopefully the rain holds off. So, yeah, I mean, everybody's excited. We're feeling good.
Talking about those scrimmages and just getting a chance to kind of look at the team this year going into this upcoming season, what we like to always do is start off with a sort of meet the team segment. So I want you to give a chance. I want to give you the chance, rather, to shout out some of those seniors and some of those other returning players that you expect to be big leadership roles this year, as well as some younger players that you think might turn some heads this year and you're really excited about.
Right. So we got 2 seniors coming back. Nick Rapsack, who's been a starter for us for a few years. He'll be starting center field. We've also got Jordan Dowling, who will be starting shortstop. He was an all-league player last year. Those are only 2 seniors this year. We lost 7 of them last year, so we're going to be young this year. Our junior class is fairly big. We got 6-7 juniors. A couple of those guys standing out. First would have to be Gino Lazzari. I mean, he tore his ACL 2 years ago, wasn't able to play last year. We believe, a lot of coaches believe he's a strong D1 college prospect. So we got that going for us. Holden Hansel's returning for us. Played catcher for us a lot last year, but he'll be playing first base this year. So those 2 guys will stand out. We got 3 incoming freshmen, Cameron Huff, Trevor Rusko, Ethan Powell, and I expect all 3 of those young guys to either be starting or getting quite a bit of playing time.
Coach, let's talk a little bit about the fact that, you talked about the 7 seniors lost too, and that was something I was going to bring up too, because as most coaches will say about the sport, baseball is fickle too, and it can play with your emotions. But in that same breath too, what we've seen too is it also offers opportunity for tremendous growth, especially that sophomore to junior year. What can you say about your incoming juniors this season and the work they put in from off season and going into this season, and trying to take that next step in being leaders as they are now going into their upperclassmen season?
Yeah, so I mean, we've kind of implemented a whole new off-season program this year. We've new pitching program, new batting program. These juniors have been leading the forefront, especially the guys that weren't playing basketball. You know, they've made sure our guys are in the weight room, kind of doing off-season workouts. And like I said, I expect our two big juniors, Gino Lazzari and Holden Hansel, to, kind of lead the pack and, get everyone in shape moving forward.
I've gotten a chance to get out to some scrimmages here before with Newton Falls, and even with the scrimmages, I mean, you guys get some decent crowds on hand too, some great support throughout all of that. And I mean, that it's nice to see for all sports there with Newton Falls. What does it mean to you as a coach to kind of see that the community gets behind this team, gets out there and supports all sports, not just, your mainstream ones, your football, your basketball? It seems like a community that really just gets out there and supports.
Yeah, I mean, it's awesome. We have a very good youth program in town, and we're lucky enough right now to be playing at our city park. So even, families, adults who don't have kids who are currently on our team, they see us playing a game and we're up at the city park, and, they're just kind of hanging out watching what's going on. And it's quite a cool, awesome atmosphere that we got going on up there. We do have plans in the future right now to move a new turf field, baseball field on school property. So we'll be interested to see, how that kind of changes the dynamics of everything.
I hear those turf fields too working out tremendously too, and with the rain that comes around this area too, it certainly helps eliminate those rainouts. Speaking of rainouts and just going into that schedule a little bit, talk to me about competing in this tough MVAC conference too on that gray side. It seems like pitching, and more pitching is the story over there. What's it going to kind of take for you guys to get a piece of that conference crown this year? Obviously losing some senior leadership, but hey, we know it's not out of the realm of possibility in this sport.
Right. So, I mean, I think you nailed it there. Pitching is pretty much everything that goes on in high school baseball. If you got one or two stud pitchers, you can go a long way, even if you're deficient in other areas. Teams, Champion's always solid. LeBray's always solid. Garrettsville, I think they got something crazy, like 9 or 10 seniors this year. And, they got a lot coming back. They made a deep run in the tournament last year. So I think, those are going to be the teams to look out for. But like I said, we got some young guys, and I think, few pitchers who I think are going to make some noise this year. And we're hoping, this year we might surprise some people and hopefully catapult us into something big next year.
Obviously, yeah, the conference schedule is great too. It adds that little extra oomph to the regular season, and that is able to set goals for some of these younger guys. But the non-conference game is really where you get a chance to kind of sharpen those teeth for the tournament and get a chance on what you're kind of see. What's some games non-conference wise that you're really excited for this team to kind of face off and get their feet wet against this season?
First of all, I'd have to say, we play JFK, state champions last year. They got a lot coming back. They had a lot of young players last year, so we're excited to, test them, see what we're made of at that point. We've also got some, other fun games. We play Matthews at Eastwood Field under the lights. And then the very last game of the season, we're taking on Bristol, and that'll be at Scene Field 1 under lights as well. So I think those two games will be something special to watch as well.
Talking about Newton Falls baseball as a whole too, if you were to put into words what the culture is of Tigers baseball and what it kind of means to wear that Tigers logo on your chest and wear it proudly, what at the end of the day would you say it means to be a Tiger for Newton Falls?
Well, I think our reputation, not just baseball, basketball, football, whatever it may be, is that you're going to get the best out of us. We're not going to roll over and quit. We're not going to roll over and die. Whether we're the underdogs or not, you're going to get the best for us. We're going to keep fighting. If it's the 6th inning and we're down by 12 runs, we're going to keep battling and keep fighting you all the way through.
You keep on returning and you keep on developing this team through the up years, the down years, if you could even call those that in Newton Falls. What kind of is bringing you back year to year, Coach? And what kind of gives you the love for this sport and the love to just keep back and keep coaching this group of kids and this community of kids?
Well, I think it helps that, I'm an alumni of Newton Falls. I coached basketball here for years. I watched a lot of these kids grow up through the years. And I think just watching them get excited about things, and, we've got a lot of goals this year for, league championships, district championships, and that's something we don't have a lot of in baseball at this school. We're pushing huge for this culture change to, drive baseball to the forefront here.
Speaking of which, too, what would Coach Rankin tell player Chad Rankin then, if you had a chance to kind of go back and coach yourself with all the experience you have now?
I wouldn't know where to start with that question. You don't realize how fast things are going to go, and coach is telling you to do little things like lifting, conditioning, and you're like, when you're 16, 17, you don't really know how important those things are. And I tell my guys all the time, you don't know what's going to happen, day to day. And, the next game you play could very well be your last game. So play every game like it's your last is a big thing we preach around here.
And key word in that too is the we part, Coach. As we know all the head coaches get the limelight, and we love doing these interviews with you guys too. But the assistants and all the other big influential names and programs around the area, we feel like don't get enough attention. So I want to give you that opportunity to shout out other big names in that Newton Falls program, whether that be your assistants or some people that run the youth program who really helps out with this Tigers baseball in Newton Falls.
Right. So my first assistant coach, Brendan Jones, he's a teacher here at the school, former player at Lakeview, and he's played Double-A ball over the summer. We've got Tom Hansel, who former alumni here, alumni at Kent State, was a pitcher at Kent State, and he's been great, helping so much with so many things. And shout out a couple youth guys, Brent Powell, who son is now in high school, but he helped develop that youth league, so he's on my staff now. And then also I would say John Rusko does a great job with our youth league, kind of rebuilding it. There was a few years where our youth league kind of fell downhill, and he came in and kind of picked it right back up. And, over the years, we've seen an increase in more and more kids joining our youth leagues.
Coach, before we let you go, I want to give you the opportunity to shout out your first game, your first home game, and when the Tigers faithful can get out there and see it. I'm sure Newton Falls community already keeps up with it, but if there's anyone in that community living under a rock, where can they catch you for your first home game, Coach?
So our first home game will be March 31st. It'll be home against Crestview.
So a nice little conference game to get their feet wet too inside that MVAC gray. That's going to be a Thursday game, again, March 31st. Catch Newton Falls taking on Crestview at Newton Falls. Coach Rankin will be there. Tigers will be there. And it'll be a fun time. Opening season for baseball just weeks away. Coach Rankin and the Newton Falls Tigers, thank you so much for your time. And we'll be looking forward to covering you all season and talking to you again real soon.
All right. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
That was Coach Chad Rankin, the head coach over there at Newton Falls. And that leads us right into the end of the program. That does it. Ty, you got a lot of FaceTime today. You put in some great work this week, and now people get to hear your voice a lot on the one show.
Yeah, and I mean, just glad to highlight these three programs too. All three really good coaches that have put in the work for their programs individually, and three programs I'm excited to see how they perform this season too. So, I mean, we're only days away now from opening day, so it can't come soon enough.
We are going to take a 70-hour break. We'll be back on Monday from 12 to 2. So far, the coaches that we have confirmed live on the air on Monday, we're going to have Coach Molinix of the West Branch baseball team joining us at 12. And then we will have Coach Brian May at 1 o'clock of East Liverpool baseball, also on the show on Monday at 12:15. Ysn General Manager Steve Leslie is going to come on the show with us for his new era a Running Point debut, and he'll help us kind of give a broad picture, big picture preview of the baseball season and some of the things that he's excited to see high school baseball wise as well. So Monday's going to be a fun show. You never know who we might get between then and now. Keep your eyes tuned to our social media. We'll promote it when we get it. And as for everything else, have a great weekend. Enjoy the madness. Casual Sports Podcast coming up next. Power Hour from 3 to 4. And until Monday, we will.